Friendship Circle. The Friendship Circle.
And the Friendship Circle is a
nonprofit organization
where teens get paired up with other teens who have special needs.
Whenever children come to Sunday Circle, they'll get paired up with a volunteer buddy, and they'll do 4 different activities.
Kids get to do things like movement activities where they do dancing or stretching. They get to eat food and make snacks. And they get to do art, and they get to do music, like making music and doing drum circle. And so it's kind of covers all these bases of things that they might not get to do at home.
So Zev and I started the Friendship Circle here in Philadelphia. It was originally started in Michigan a few years before we started here, and Zev was involved in starting one in New Jersey, and so it was kind of natural when we got married. I'm originally from Philly, and when we moved here, we thought, let's see if this is something that the community here is looking for. We spent the first year kind of talking to the community and seeing if the needs were out there, and getting a sense of what other programming is out there so that we wouldn't duplicate, and we started from there. We try to provide a lot of support for the friendships to be strengthened and for the friendships and connections to be made. We have a lot of staff members there, and so each of those staff members, they're not volunteers, they're paid staff members. This is how they're able to stay committed and that we can really rely on them. We're taking teenagers who it's their first time kind of interacting with youth with special needs and with youth with special needs with a variety of needs, and so we want to provide a lot of support.
Thank God we're at a point where we have 5 full-time staff members, and that would be myself, our program director, Khani, as well as our program coordinator, Heather. And then we have a volunteer coordinator, Jared, who is there to interact with the volunteers. And we have one admin professional there to keep the whole office and organization working together. Outside of those 5 full-time staff members, we also have a couple behavioral therapists.
We have many, many adult hands to make sure that everybody's comfortable and everybody's given all the guidance and support that they need to be able to foster meaningful relationships with one another. And everything is given a lot of care and attention, and that takes a lot of pre-planning and facilitating to make that as strong as possible. You know, as our program has gotten larger, right now I have a truck full of all of our supplies. Bringing it back and forth to all the places is very cumbersome and takes a lot of time and energy, especially for our staff, setting up and cleaning up. We have so many children that are waiting for friends at home, which means that we have a teenage volunteer going to their home every week for kind of like a weekly play date. My immediate dream for Friendship Circle is to be able to provide that to many, many more families in the area, and I think this is something that a lot of people are looking for, and we need a lot more manpower to make that happen, to do more recruiting, to set up the visits. It requires a lot of individual attention. So every year the Friendship Circle hosts 2 fundraising events. Most of our funding from the entire year comes from these 2 events, so they're really important in terms of having the community come out and show support for what we do, and also in terms of raising money.
So we have an annual walkathon in the fall, and that's a wonderful opportunity for the community to get together and support the Friendship Circle, but as well as supporting the Friendship Circle, really showing a community unity.
The funds are raised through peer-to-peer fundraising by people making teams and reaching out to their friends and people that they know to raise money, and also through corporate sponsors. And then we have the annual fundraising dinner where we honor our teenage volunteers and all the youth at Friendship Circle, and it's a great way for people to come out and learn more about the Friendship Circle in a little more of an upscale sort of thing than the walk.
We recognize different members of the community or honorees as a way to bring awareness to the Friendship Circle.
And these are both really essential to the Friendship Circle's funding throughout the year.
So when we look at what the role of the Friendship Circle is in the community, there are so many different parts to it.
When I see teenagers who give of their time to volunteer, it's really very meaningful for me and very moving. I see teenagers who start with us, I see them grow into their roles, I see them become more sensitive and more adaptable at being able to connect to all different types of people.
It ends up being that the volunteers get a lot more out of it than A, they were expecting, and B, than they are giving.
I think it's really special to see families of children with special needs being a part of a community, and that's really what Friendship Circle has been able to build.
It's support for the families. That support comes through whether it's the programs themselves or support we can give, connections we can give to the families or at our parent events.
Obviously, working directly with the special needs community, we want to see as much inclusion as possible, and we see the future leaders of our community, being sensitive to other people, which is a humongous thing.
We also try to look for ways to give them opportunities to be part of the community and to just a place where they'll be treated as a child or as a young adult and just be included with each other and having relationships with friends, not just therapists or family members or other professionals, but rather just a place to have friendship.